Hello traders, how are you? Happy weekend. Vladimir Ribakov here from Traders Academy Club. This video is the weekly Forex analysis and forecast for the week of 9 to 15 of May 2020. So I hope first of all that you are well and safe. As we know, many countries start slowly to release the economies back in place. Which is somehow makes sense, right? In many places the situation does get better. It does make sense to try and apply normalization. So I like anyone else can just pray for better and pray for good and safe for everybody. So I wish you and yours the best, and please stay safe. As always, on Monday I will publish in my blog the weekly Forex analysis forecast, analysis and forecast, the text version. So on Monday, please visit vladimirribakov.com and you will find such format available for you in the blog. This link that you see right now, this is the text version of the previous week forecast. So I will quickly go over to see what worked, failed, has to be updated and or yet relevant for us, and then prepare and explain the this week current list. The list I have for this week has the Euro Pound, Pound New Zealand, and AUDCAD from the Forex, Silver Oil from the Commodities, and S&P from the Indices. Okay, so quickly let's go over this view. AUDCAD from previous week doesn't deliver too much. We expect corrective cycle in two waves or any sort of range before further continuation. So as you can see on the AUDCAD, we're pretty much dancing around the same area. And I would not be surprised to see the two waves completed, and also if we develop here any sort of ranging structure. Both scenarios are totally fine, but for me, based on the analysis I have, currently sell these rallies, it makes more sense. I expect a corrective phase right now, and that's my view remains here the same. Next on the list was the CAD yen, where we expected to see a continuation down after retraces, and this pair, well, before the retrace came in place, but this pair delivered. This was the beginning of the previous week. We got a move down, and we got the retraces, and we got a massive move to the downside. After that, retrace is in play. AUDCAD, which we started to follow up previous week, going flat since, doesn't really develop much of the correction, as you can see, dancing around. That was a view from previous week. We got these rallies, we got a move down, but it never managed to create any sort of significant correction yet. So I will explain how and what I would want to see from this one. Euro Aussie idea failed. We never got the opportunity to look for a bullish view. Instead of providing bullish continuation after the correction, what I wanted to see was basically correction and continuation. Instead of that, we developed here three lower highs, lower lows, which becomes a contradiction to the long view. So that basically a place where everything is invalidated. So this idea failed. Sugar, we expect to see short-term corrections before the drop down. On a 4-hour, expecting to see two waves. Not much happened on the sugar. Let's see that. Sugar here. So here we are making this little retrace. So this option would be ideal to see before further push to the downside, and that's what I would ideally want to see happening. This other way around, for longer term, we should be looking for very likely continuation of the downside. And DAX I expect to see correction before any completion of longer ABCD to complete the 2 waves for the long term. But on the shorter term, the DAX doesn't really develop much. Let's go to see where do we stand with that. That was the short term. The trend line breakout happened. Now we can visit. And basically nothing since. It's pretty much stuck. There are 2 options here. Or the first one, we're gonna break and likely to continue, or just increase the correction. So it's going to be something like that, and then the move down. So these 2 scenarios definitely in play. Then we had a Deutsche Bank, which stuck also, doesn't deliver nothing yet. So nothing new on this pair, on this instrument. And the LITECOIN, which also we want to see correction and the further continuation, ABCD on the 4-hour chart. So here we are. But you see what happens at that moment. Instead of the classical ABCD, we develop here 3 lower highs and lower lows, which easily could turn to be a longer correction. So currently there is nothing interesting new happening with the LITECOIN. It's stuck on the same zone as the previous week without providing clear ABCD and breakout, without providing any clear bullish signs, therefore would be removed from the list. So that's the previous week as we had it, and let's see what this week brings to us. And we have many interesting opportunities, as I said. Euro pound, pound New Zealand, Aussie CAD, silver, oil, and S&P. That's my list for this week. So let's begin. Euro pound, the first one. So the way that the daily currently develops, it seems that we are in any sort of consolidation here. The fact that this pair doesn't manage, refuses to and fails to create any bullish momentum here is a fact that might be a temporary correction before the continuation lower, all the way down to 0.85 or even lower than that to some significant supportive zones. Now watching on a 4-hour chart, we can clearly see, you see this first attempt to make a rally, second attempt to make a rally, third attempt to make a rally, and they yet do not make any rallies. So the way I see that, this is not a good bullish view, and if the pair does not manage to significantly create a higher highs, higher lows, then I would expect to see the pair pushing lower down to 0.85, 0.84 area. There is a very, very, very important zone on the move down from my point of view, below this area. You can see this inner zones before significant breakouts were done, and I believe that if we do not see the higher highs, then we're gonna visit on these areas. So I would be expecting Euro pound to be active and interesting during this and the next following weeks. Pound New Zealand is the next one. According to the longer term cycle, I think that this pair is heading to the downside, and on a daily we start to this was from my point of view the first leg, and I expect this to be the second. Right now we create the lower highs, lower lows, which is by itself a bearish structure, and on the 4-hour chart we also can see the fact that these lows do not have divergence, as you can see, no ending divergence. So from my point of view, I would expect to see a bearish continuation in this pair, and sell the rallies should be interesting opportunity. Of course, if we see enough bearish evidences created after the corrections. Next one for the list is going to be now. By the way, on the lower time frame here, as you can see, we are building here some interesting structures. You see here, right? So let's assume we got a low here, right? So, for example, things like that, right? Analysis like that with a bearish hidden divergence could be a very interesting opportunity to follow. And of course, that could be also done by the 4 hour, but in bigger scale. And the next one is the AUDCAD, which I find very interesting. And here is why. 20 candles right on the Bollingers without retesting the middle and the lower part. Divergence that already is developing as continuing, likely to develop here some regular, beautiful divergence. Critical zones is this area, very strong zone. So from my point of view, this area should deliver corrections on the AUDCAD. It might take time because this is longer term cycle, as you can see in play. So what I would want to see in for this pair, lower highs, lower lows to define a bearish trend, and then sell corrections. Or alternatively, go and spike here through, create some good convenience convergence, and then see the sell pullbacks as opportunity. That's the way I see the AUDCAD, and I think this is pretty interesting one. What else do we need to pay attention to? For the longer term, the analysis here is still bearish, right? We definitely can see that as a high. Ideally, we want to see that spiking through to complete a convergence, right? If it does, it will also, on the bigger view, would become here as a bearish hidden divergence, right, on this area to deliver the correction, and then likely to assume further continuation to the upside. Very interesting fact on the AUDCAD is that the statistical view also suggests these days to be critical, as you can see. Okay, you can see all the important numbers on the go. We are entering some critical zone, critical period in terms of days. The statistics are that the second part of the month, as you can see, is a very strong bearish pressure on the pair. And when that fits in the cycle and the levels analysis, many times it becomes as a great opportunity. So I would definitely look on the Bollinger Bands, right, with the divergence to complete, and look for the evidences for the retraces. That's my view on the pair. Of course, I might be wrong here, but that's how I see that. Now, commodities, we have two interesting ones. That's the silver and the oil. So for the silver, with the massive bounce we have here, yeah, that's a long-term potential divergence that might be a beginning of something significant for silver. It's very cheap, no doubts. I believe that we are at the beginning of some significant rally. And the way I see that, we are developing here some bullish trend structures. So assuming this is going to be the first leg of a bigger rally, I believe that this high is yet to be completed. So watching and observing the current momentum, the one that we see here is some sort of a ranging consolidation and a breakout. And this breakout is gaining momentum, as you can see. RSI gains the momentum, MACD gains the momentum. So it looks good. And from my point of view, we are heading here into some sort of rally to complete the first leg. So my view on the silver, until the divergence would be completed, my view here is bullish. Afterwards, likely to assume we're gonna see here some correction before further rallies. And the next one is the oil. As I mentioned in the beginning, we return to the normalization in many countries. Transportation usage would likely to increase. The demand for oil is likely to increase. And the way I see that, we are now building a corrective structure after this massive movement to the downside and after all the crisis we all been experiencing during April. Now, I also covered the oil during the week in my blog post. No, that's the Bitcoin. There's the oil post. Also, you can find that in my blog. As I explained at the beginning of the video, you can join our free Telegram channel, and also inside the club we cover all the most interesting instruments during the week. Now, the free Telegram channel you would find on daily basis posts with analysis and ideas on the blog and the trading view account. So you can find both links to join below in the description and in the comment section. Okay, now this was the post of the oil. You can read that for a bit bigger explanation here about the levels and what we expect to see here in technical technically analyzed on the different time frames, multi-time frame analysis. As I said, we also can follow us in the trading view. This is the account we have there. Okay, this was specifically the analysis for Bitcoin. So let's go here. That's what I expect on oil to see this correction to this cycle. Now, on the lower time frame, definitely would expect to see some sort of slowdown at the rally here, right? At some point, when everybody would become super bullish on oil, that would be the time to expect some corrections. But for the longer view, I would be looking only for bullish opportunities, assuming nothing crazy would happen with the coronavirus and all the lockdowns again. I would expect to see logical corrections and logical return to normalization, and that means in all the aspects of life. One of them is usage of the oil. Okay, and the next one is the S&P 500. A very interesting fact that the rallies are yet here despite the bad economical numbers, but with all the money keep coming from the Fed. The fact that this first leg yet did not deliver any lower highs, lower lows is still a fact. The bears are not in control, so I would not be surprised to see this divergence completed and then taking the trend line of the let's connect it here. Okay, taking the trend line of the rally once this divergence completes, and again assuming the divergence would complete, getting the rally, and with the breakout of that, I would want to confirm that we see here lower highs, lower lows. It's very, 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 very important to make sure the bearish trend comes back in play. Bearish trend definition is when the price creates lower highs, lower lows. As you can see, the break of this trend line failed to do so. When it fails to do so, you do not need to keep convincing the chart that it's time to go down and look for only for sell opportunities. There is nothing wrong with sitting neutral when there is nothing clear happening. And on this one, for example, during the week we got contradicting bullish sign by making 3 waves to the upside, 2 waves to the downside, bullish hidden divergence, and a break above this falling trend line. When you discover something like that, it doesn't make sense to force. Wait. The next sign will come. When? When the market would be ready. Okay? When that happens, don't try to predict. There is no, that doesn't make sense to predict. Trade facts that you see on the market. So I would prefer to see this high, or even ideally some clearance around these highs. And that would be very significant zone, right? So this false breakout or this false breakout with, and of course we must see here, let's draw it clearer, we must see here divergence, and then the rising trend line breakout. The breakout will have to be in trending structure to gain momentum, right? Otherwise, if it doesn't, there is no bearish pressure. Bearish evidence is when bears create the lower highs, lower lows. When they do not, they are not in play. As simple as that. And it doesn't matter what the lines show. Okay? I would like to ask your support and your help. If you find the video and the content provided for you with all the trading opportunities interesting, helpful, beneficial, please hit the like button, drop some feedback below. Your support is my motivation, and keep doing that week after week for you. As you know, this video is completely free for you, so feel free to share it with anyone who you would like. The idea here is to share interesting analyzed ideas with the community, hopefully to be helpful. So if you find this helpful, please show your support back, hit the like button, drop some feedback, and share that with your communities. And once again, I would like to wish you stay safe, be well, best wishes to you and all yours in this challenging period. Hopefully we are back to normalization soon. For all those of you who are fans of UFC and MMA like myself, enjoy the great fights coming tonight on Saturday. So that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for your time watching this video. Again, I hope you find it useful and helpful. I invite you to join our club and to enjoy daily live market analysis backed up with trading reports, with covering all the most interesting instruments as they are. Some week are very dynamic, some week are more boring, but we always try to find the most interesting opportunities to follow up, and the way we do it is multi-time frame analysis using our analyzing techniques. So I hope to see you with us, and meanwhile, thank you very much once again for your time. I wish you and yours only the best. Stay safe and be well. I'll see you soon.